Well guys, I gotta admit, this was a great acting debut for The Weeknd. Not a bad way to kick off your acting career. We don't talk about The Idol. As EXO fans, we agreed to bury that chapter, and for good reason. So Hurry Up Tomorrow is a brand new psychological thriller, and also the 6th studio album from The Weeknd. Incredible album, by the way. The film is directed by Trey Edward Schultz, and it stars Abel Tesfaye, aka The Weeknd, Jenna Ortega, and Barry Cogan. Plagued by insomnia, a musician gets pulled into a nightmarish odyssey with a stranger who begins to unravel the very core of his existence. For those who may not know, this film is heavily inspired by an unfortunate event that happened to The Weeknd. So at his Los Angeles stop during the 2022 After Hours So Dawn tour, The Weeknd's voice quite literally went out on stage. And because of losing his voice, he was forced to abruptly end his concert in LA. I'm not a musician, I'm not a singer, but I can only imagine the frustration, the anger, the guilt, and the embarrassment that he must have felt during that moment. Granted, he ran the tour back 2 months later, but still. So the entirety of this film is based off of that moment in his life. Yes, the film is a lot more dramatic than the actual real life events, but still. And after seeing this film, I enjoyed it, for the most part. Now listen, I can tell you right now, this movie is not going to be for everyone. But whether you enjoy this experience or not, you gotta admit one thing. From a technical and from a visual standpoint, this movie is incredible. Everything from the stage setup to The Weeknd performing on stage, to the psychological and horror elements in the second and the third act, the film looked beautiful. I believe this film was shot on 35mm, but that 35mm complemented this visual odyssey. The film does a great job at capturing The Weeknd's psychological and intense thoughts. It feels like I am quite literally inside the mind of one of the biggest artists on the planet. And no, I'm not dick riding, he is quite literally one of the biggest artists on planet Earth. But visually, this movie is a trip. And the cinematography is gorgeous. The cinematography just further complements the visual storytelling of this film. And that's kind of one of the things that I love about this movie. This film feels less of a scripted piece, but rather more of a visual story. There are moments where even the music is telling a story compared to the dialogue, but the production and the visuals feel more of like characters themselves. If you have heard any Weeknd album or song at that, you can already imagine that the music in this film is incredible. Most of the songs are from Hurry Up Tomorrow, which happens to be one of my personal favorite Weeknd albums, but best believe it sounds even better in the cinema. With all of the concert scenes and all of the music scenes, it felt like my body was quite literally levitating. This is the closest I will get to seeing The Weeknd in 2025 because Ticketmaster is the devil. This film is a must-see in Dolby Cinema. This film perfectly utilizes the Dolby Cinema sound. There is a scene where they play Gasoline and I almost cried. Now, I could be wrong, but I think one of the biggest questions a lot of EXO fans are wondering is if The Weeknd's acting is good. And for the most part, yeah, it's actually not bad. It is way better than The Idol. It is nothing like The Idol. I can tell you that for a fact. For the most part, Abel's acting was actually convincing. When he was acting emotional, when he was showing vulnerability, when he was showing pain in his eyes, I believed it. It felt genuine. It felt raw. It felt realistic. That is when his acting is at its best. However, there is one scene where he's having a confrontation with Jenna Ortega's character, and the scene requires his character to act more aggressive and annoyed toward Jenna's character, and it kind of hurts to watch. I'm not trying to be that guy, but when it comes to being like this aggressive, tough guy, Abel is not the person for that role. His aggressive acting is the equivalent of being held up at gunpoint with a Nerf gun by a Care Bear. I didn't buy that aggressiveness. I didn't buy that physical intimidation. I'm sorry. But regardless of that scene, this performance is still way better, 1,000 times better than anything he did on The Idol. The Idol is just, look, it's a fun, bad show. But if you genuinely love the show, it's one of your favorite shows of all time, we might have to put you on a watch list. We're gonna keep a real good eye on you, my brother. But both Jenna and Barry were fantastic. I mean, that should not even come into question. I do have some strong feelings about both Jenna and Barry's character, but I'm gonna shut up because that goes into spoilers. I have a very strong theory on who these two characters are, but just know they're not what you think. If you can make it through the first act, you might appreciate this film. The first act definitely takes its time getting things set up. Not only is the first act slow, but it's kind of confusing because we see different events happening at different period points and we don't know what exactly is the chronological order. I think most people will be confused into like what's actually happening, what's real, what came first, what came after. But by the end, I think you might understand it. I think. I am a little bit lost on what the overall theme of this film was supposed to be. Now, maybe the film was about the struggle between healing your inner child and your emotional and mental state versus allowing your reckless and careless self to destroy you. Maybe the film is about don't lose yourself in this massive world. Maybe it's about don't mistake vulnerability for weakness. Or maybe the theme is simpler than that. Maybe I'm too big-brained, I don't know. But in the end, guys, Hurry Up Tomorrow is a very unique experience. You may like it, you may not. It's all up to you. So, plugging Hurry Up Tomorrow into the rank system, I am placing this one into the pass zone. But yeah, y'all, that is pretty much my review for Hurry Up Tomorrow. Let me know down in the comments section below what you guys thought about the film. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What is your favorite song off the album? Why do y'all not appreciate Dawn FM as much as I do? Whatever you thought, let me know down in the comments section below. And as always, guys, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you all in the next one.